What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to be covering financial tips that e-commerce brands should know. Joining me is Javier Ramirez from AgileCFO. If you'd like to know more about them and the services that they offer, check the description box below this video. There'll also be a link to their website and a link to download the financial tips that we discussed today. So, Javier, tell me a little bit more about AgileCFO and what you do to help e-commerce brands.
Thanks, Robert. So AgileCFO is a virtual accounting services firm. We do anything from bookkeeping up to virtual or outsourced CFO services. We help e-commerces with their growth. We help them with their sales taxes, and we help them increase their valuation. So we make sure that they do the right things to grow their company, be profitable, and if they are going to sell their company, sell it at a very high valuation.
Thank you for that. So you had mentioned about state taxes. So what exactly are state taxes for e-commerce brands? Thanks.
So sales tax is a percentage of the sales price on any product, good or service. It's governed at the state level. So every state has different taxes. And you see these taxes across all the states in the United States. There's some states that don't have sales tax, and I'll cover that in a little bit, but most of the states do. There is a different type of taxes. There is a state and local tax. In addition to having separate sales tax laws, there is some other things known as the economic nexus, which we'll cover that in detail, but that's basically the link. And there are some products that are taxable, some products that are not, and all these sales taxes also have due dates. So you as an e-commerce business owner, you need to have the right partner to make sure that you pay the taxes and file them on time.
That makes a lot of sense. So you had mentioned that states don't have sales tax. So what states actually don't have sales tax?
Yeah, so they're primarily 4 states, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. If you live and operate your business in one of these states, you don't have to worry about collecting and remitting the sales tax. Or if you find that you suddenly have Nexus, so remember, Nexus is the connection, and I'll cover those details in a few minutes. In those states, that you don't have to worry about it. It's unlikely that you have to deal with the sales taxes here. Of course, there is an issue or some things that you need to keep in mind. Some local areas within these states may be able to charge a sales tax. While you are less likely to be responsible for one of these local sales taxes, you should always check with any state's taxing authority when you find you have a nexus in that state.
Thank you for clarifying that, Javier. So, question for you. So, what about like local sales tax?
Yep. So many states keep their sales tax pretty simple. So it's just a simple rate, having both statewide and local sales tax rates. However, some states only have a statewide tax, but no local tax in all the states. So I'll just give you an example. Dade County has a different sales tax than Broward County, or Hillsborough County here in Tampa has a different sales tax than Pinellas. And in Pennsylvania, this is very common as well. So there are nine states with no local sales tax rates, and those states and there are 9 states with local sales tax rates. So these are Connecticut, District of Columbia, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, and Rhode Island. As you can imagine, sales taxes in the U.S. is not a simple calculation. To stay on top of the sales taxes, you need to have the right partner. You have to check the state guides continuously because they change, so you can keep up to date and you know when they are due.
Thank you for that. And so let me ask you, so you said that they vary from state to state. What's the e-commerce relationship with sales taxes?
Yeah, so you charge a sales tax and by the product that you sell. But there, once again, some products that you don't have to pay tax. But once you charge these sales tax, you collect the money on your account through Amazon or Shopify or whatever method you're using. You need to account for those dollars properly in your accounting system. So you have to set up something that is called a withholding account. And at the end of every month, when you do the reporting of the transactions or the sales, then you have to remit those dollars that you put in that accounting account or in your bank account. You need to take that money out and send it to the state. So you need to keep good controls as an e-commerce business on your back end, on your accounting systems, to make sure that you account for that properly and you don't spend that cash that you receive in other things.
Okay, awesome. So you're saying that like e-commerce brands will need some sort of a sales tax permit or something like that. How would they be able to register for a sales tax permit?
Yep. So in order to remit a payment to the state on behalf of the customer, you must first be registered with that state so you can legally collect taxes. Because basically you're selling a product and you're collecting taxes. So each state taxing authority, usually called the Department of Revenue, handles the sales tax registration permits. We normally help our clients with that process. So you just fill an application, and it could be easy or difficult because there is a lot of reading to do. But you can do it on your own. If you call the Department of Revenue or you go on your state website, you can register for a sales tax permit yourself or hire a professional, basically.
Okay, so how do you know where you need to register? Is it based on where you're selling products, or is it based on your home state? Can you get into a little bit more detail on that?
Absolutely, and that's a confusion. And here we're going to talk about the Nexus. So you can know where you need to register by determining your Nexus between the states. So the states where you have physical or economic Nexus. In simple terms, the Nexus is just a connection. It's a relationship that you have with a state. So when there is a transaction, that triggers that connection.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So like, what are the two types of Nexus?
Yeah, so there are two ways that you can be tied to a state when it comes to Nexus. One is the physical, and the other one is the economical Nexus. This holds true when you sell online or not sometimes. Remember, it depends on the product as well. Let's break down the differences between the physical and the economical. So physical means having enough tangible presence or activity in a state to merit paying sales tax in that state. Basically, if you sell enough volume of product, that means that you're gonna trigger that Nexus, that connection. An example, you sell a lot of books on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. That is creating a Nexus for you because you have a relationship with clients in that state. On the economic side means passing a state's economy threshold for that total revenue of or the number of transactions as well. So economic means if you sell more than $1,000 or if you sell more than $2,000, that's what triggers that economic relationship, and for you to say, all right, now you're liable and you have to pay the state taxes on those transactions.
So just one more thing I wanted to clarify on, is there a certain threshold that, in terms of like percentage of sales that determines that physical Nexus?
Yeah, so it's on volume or dollars that are generated, right? Each state is completely different. Each state has their own rules, so you can imagine how hairy this can be. You can know where you have physical Nexus if you have any of the following things. One is you have a business location, or you have employees in the state, or you have affiliates. So let's say you have a contractor that creates that physical Nexus, or you have a distribution. Go ahead.
Or a reseller.
Or you have a reseller in that specific state, or you have a distribution center or a drop ship. So this is tricky because Amazon has warehouses everywhere, right? So if they have a warehouse in that state and your product is sitting in that state, that is creating physical nexus. Also, if you go to trade shows or you're selling to trade shows, or you're having craft fairs and any other sales event within that state, create that physical relationship.
Thank you for clarifying on that. So how is that physical nexus determined?
Yeah, so the economic threshold for the total revenue or number of transactions in a state varies from a state to a state, as I mentioned. It goes anywhere between 100,000 up to 500,000, and from 100 transactions up to 200 transactions. So if you are a serious e-commerce business owner, I mean, you could be hitting the 100 transactions very quickly and the 200 transactions very quickly. So, and you could even be hitting the 100,000 because you could be selling $1 million. I know a lot of e-commerce businesses that reach those levels. So you can know where you have economic nexus based on the number of transactions, once again, they have in each state, the total revenue sold each year, and knowing the individual threshold by state, because each state is completely different. Some will be less than 100,000, some will be above 200 or 300,000, and the number of transactions will be different as well.
Thank you for clarifying that. So physical and economic nexus are different. So how is the economic nexus determined?
Yeah, so the economic nexus, as I mentioned, is basically, it depends on the dollars process or the volume of transactions. So either if your transactions are falling between, in terms of dollars, between 100 and 500,000, you may be hitting the economic nexus. Or if your volume is between 100 up to 200 transactions, at least you will be hitting that economic nexus. So either way, whatever goes first, then that means that you are liable for sales tax, and you need to keep tracking that. Now, the decision is yours as a business owner, as an e-commerce business owner. You're the one that decide, yeah, I want to start paying from day one. I want to remit the proper taxes to the state, and that would be the right thing to do. But there is a lot of e-commerce business owners that just say, nah, I'm just gonna wait. I think I don't have enough activity, and I'm just gonna wait until I have enough activity. And that is a risk that is taken. And as a business owner, we all take risks, but it's good to be mindful about it and be prepared when you receive a letter from your Department of State, how to handle it.
Thank you for clarifying that. So, and that really concludes all the questions I had for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. If anybody wants to learn more about you and your business, like, where should they go to?
Thank you, Robert. So they can go to www.AgileCFOS.com, and I'm going to be uploading the transcript of this presentation so people can store it and save it. I'm a partner with a tax jar that helps automate all this mess and this process. So hopefully we'll be able to help some of your clients.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
You too, Robert. Thanks a lot.
Bye.